So for the flat bench, just a couple of recap. Number one is make sure that you keep your shoulder blades squeezed, turn your elbows in a little bit as you press, and you're going down towards that sternum, and you're press the bar up and back. So I'm going to teach you how to find your optimal grip for just normal benching, whether it's a flat bench, barbell benching, barbell incline, barbell decline, and I'm also going to show you close grip. So I'll show you how to do both of these in this video, in this segment. And typically at Higher Power, we typically favor more of a moderate grip. We don't like to go super wide, we don't like to go super narrow. The reason is when you do wide grip benching, you tend to put a lot more force in your shoulder, about 1.5 times the force. And one of the things we know is that world-class bench press, athletes, power lifters, these guys tend to be able to lift for a long time, very heavy weight. They tend to favor more of a narrow grip. So we tend to do a little bit more of a narrow grip. So to find just your optimal grip, what you do is you go just stand, shoulder width, feet a little narrower than shoulder width, bring your thumb to your thigh, and then just kind of come straight up. That's going to be about right for most people. Now you can come in a little bit narrower, you can come out a little bit wider, but this is going to be here, and then we'll adjust it from there. That'd be for your classic grip. So now I'm going to go ahead and lie down, and we'll show you from a different angle. So now here's about my width from my thighs. I'm just going to go ahead and go down. And I actually like to go just a little narrower from there. So for me, what I like to do is I like my first knuckle to line up with the bar right there, and then wrap the thumb. And that's one technique. There is another technique you can do too. You could usually put, for a lot of people, they may also want to just take the tip of their thumb and line up with the knurling and the smooth part and wrap there. If you like just a slightly wider grip, but I like slightly narrower, so for me, I like this position. Now for a close grip, typically for most people, we teach 1 finger in or 2 finger in on the smooth. So that's how you do close grip. And then of course, wide grip for me would be out on these rings right here, pinky on the rings. So it's gonna vary based on you, but that's what we found to be best. So when bench pressing, whether you're gonna do flat, decline, or incline, this technique is going to apply for all forms of bench pressing. I'm going to teach you the different contact points we need to maintain when we press. So first off is we're going to sit down on the bench and we're going to lie back. And what you want to do is you want to get your eyes underneath the bar. That's the first thing. So I'm going to get the eyes right underneath the bar. And then from there, I'm going to bend my knees a little bit. You don't want your feet out here. You don't want to be super bent where you're on your toes, although a lot of powerlifters will do it. We want our feet firmly on the ground, but we do want a little bit of knee bend. So right there, I have a pretty good knee bend. So that's a good position for me. That's gonna give me more solid base of support to press off of. Then from there, I'm gonna pop up my chest. I always wanna keep my head down and my butt down. So I have my feet down, that's contact 1 and 2, butt down, contact 3, shoulders down, and head down, okay? Now, next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna squeeze my shoulder blades together, really, really tight. That's really important that you always keep your shoulder blades anchored. So squeeze together, I'm gonna get my grip, and then from here, I'm gonna press up the bar. If you have a spotter, it's always good to have a spotter on the bench, not only in case you get stuck, but it does save your shoulders. If you're always unracking on your own, it's a little bit harder on your shoulders over time. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna press up, straight, bring the bars straight forwards. I'm gonna turn my elbows in a little bit, and then I'm slowly gonna come down either to the chest, or the biggest thing is range of motion. We always want a pain-free range of motion. Ideally, we're coming down to that chest, but if you're having a lot of pain, then you should use a range of motion that would be different for you. Maybe you would put a towel on your chest, or a board, or you would just simply stop. We want maximum pain-free range of motion. And another thing too, as far as with this grip, I always want, when I press, you don't want your elbows flaring out with any type of grip, okay? Whether you're super wide or narrow, you always want your elbows turned in a little bit. As you press, your elbows are turned in as opposed to being up here. If your elbows come above your 90 degrees, you're gonna have a lot of pain in your shoulder. You're gonna create shoulder problems in your shoulder. So keep your elbows down, below your shoulder, ideally somewhere between a 45 and 60 degree angle. One thing we should talk about is bar path too. What happens is when people press, a lot of times they're gonna press in their arm, they're gonna press forwards, they're gonna press up and forwards like this. You can see my arms at an angle towards my body as opposed to being 90 degrees. What you want to do is keep your shoulder blades tight. You're going to come down, and the bar is going to come down and slightly forwards. And then as you press, you're going to press the bar up and slightly back. Down and slightly forwards, up and slightly back. But as you're pressing, your forearms should be vertical at all times. So what you want to avoid is, avoid pressing forwards like that. Forwards like that. That's really hard on the shoulders and you have no leverage. Instead, keep your elbows under the bar at all times. Press up and slightly back, down and slightly forwards. And what you're doing is you're literally approaching, in the flat press, you're going to be approaching your sternum. So you're always controlling down, and your target is right around the sternum or right around the line of the nipples, slightly below.